Guys, I swear to you, today is not my day. Welcome, one and all. It's the Island Girl, and I'm back with another one. And today I'm checking out 6 British things American surprising. See, today is not my day. 6 British things Americans surprisingly embrace. All right, we're going to dive right into this one. I'm getting this one from Lost in the Pond. Link in the description below. Please go over and show Lauren some love. All right, with that said, we're going to dive right into this video because, guys, you all don't know what I've been doing right here. Oh, here we go right about now.
Hello, we are
Hi,
celebrating
Lauren.
the 10-year anniversary of this channel, and it got me thinking that my American viewers have really embraced me over the years. And that got me thinking about some of the other British things that Americans have embraced, some a long time ago, some since I moved here. And the best thing you can do to embrace me without hugs is to subscribe to this channel. And if you haven't yet done that, do that now.
Please do it
In the
here as
meantime,
well.
here are 6 British things that Americans looked at and surprisingly went, I'll have a bit of that, but in an American accent.
Okay.
Okay, so over the years, I knew that American television had broadcast various British comedies and detective shows. What I didn't realise is that Americans got on board with various British children's TV. When I was at university, I remember having a conversation with an American student about Bob the Builder. We even spent a good hour or an hour singing the theme tune after 4 tequilas. And then I moved to America and looked at the TV listings, remember them, and saw Teletubbies. So now I find myself in the uncomfortable position of having to apologize on behalf of my country to America for both Teletubbies and Piers Morgan. Now, I don't have kids of my own because I've raised puppies, and Jesus, that was work. However, I do have nieces and nephews, and a few years ago, my sister-in-law recounted how one of them was getting a little too into the British show Peppa Pig. This moment is not lost to history because I tweeted her words at the time. Your niece demanded to watch the Christmas episode of Peppa Pig 3 times today and is now calling Santa Father Christmas. It's funny how our priorities change over time. So in 2025, my to-do list is do research for video, film video, edit video, publish video to the masses. But in 1985, it was watch Thomas the Tank Engine. Everything about it was as British as can be, from the steam trains to the narration by the second best drummer in the Beatles. So imagine my surprise when I found out my now American wife and many others like her also watched it as a child. Furthermore, while researching this video, I found out that in addition to Ringo Starr, the US version was once narrated by George Carlin. Really? Sorry, I'm just editing.
That is funny. But yeah, I wasn't aware that all these cartoons were of British origin. I didn't realize until I did a video about animes, I think animation, something to do with British animations, and Thomas the Tank Engine, Peppa Pig, Bob the Builder. I'm like, what? Now the Teletubby one, I don't know what is that. I don't know what. I have no clue whatsoever what that is. But yes, those are a part of my childhood as well. And I'm a old little gatling right here. I am. So I'm a cheeky girl right here. Somebody put that in the comment section. I don't want to. I'm feeling myself today. They say, I like you're cheeky. You fits you well. So I'm going to use it. That's total different thing. Digressing. Listen. But yeah, those were part of my make. Even last night, Peppa Pig playing here. Araya loves Peppa Pig. My kids love Peppa Pig. Even my older kids love Peppa Pig. So, and Bob the Builder was one that really got me off guard. I'm like, Bob the Builder. So yeah, I think it's a part of a lot of American childhood growing up, and still is, but they don't like to embrace. They don't like to say. I don't know why they don't like to admit that they do things or love things that are associated with the UK. I don't know why.
As you're going to see in my next video, Americans are big fans of British-style pubs. As I've mentioned before, you'll find these in many towns and cities across the country, serving you the occasional British beer alongside several American ones, and their walls typically have an over-reliance on visibly British things. Still, for me, it's always a way to reconnect with my homeland in a way that, frankly, I wasn't expecting. Perhaps I shouldn't have been so surprised. You see, it turns out that British pubs in America date back to before not just the formation of the United States, but Britain itself. First of all, the oldest watering hole still operating in the US is the White Horse Tavern, located in Newport, Rhode Island. The tavern was constructed by an English settler called Francis Brindley in 1652. I like to think he too went overboard with the British-themed decor, perhaps a wall or two depicting Charles II, inebriated Puritans, and scurvy. But records indicate that an even older pub existed on this side of the Atlantic, Cole's Inn in Boston, Massachusetts. This was the establishment of the English settler Samuel Cole, who opened the joint just 14 years after the Mayflower docked at Plymouth. Sadly, the pub appears to have burned down in the 1700s, which, to be fair, was an authentically British thing to do. Thankfully, British pubs in America can often be a good way to procure British food that you thought was 3,000 miles that way. Or is it that way? I can't remember. But more on that in the next video.
Hold up. Question. How did I not know? I'm not gonna, let me just put it this way, because I've never heard of that before. And if I didn't watch this video, I wouldn't even have realized that there is a pub in the US. But I guarantee you, it's not gonna have that feel that I'm looking forward to. It's not gonna have the same kind of food that I am looking forward to. It's going to have an American flair, American twist to it. Yes, maybe you'll find one and two beers there, but the atmosphere, it won't be the same, because the pub experience that I am looking forward to and that I'm looking to have, there's no way on this side of the pond you're going to find that in the US. No way, no how. But look at that. There has been two, but now you only have one pub in the US. New knowledge to me. Okay, where are we going with
that? I talk on this channel about the size of American cars. And so it still surprises me to this day that on the roads, ever so occasionally, I will see a Mini Cooper. Well, I was surprised to discover America actually embraced a car as small as the Mini. I was even more surprised to find it actually embraced it twice. During the swinging 60s, when Britain invaded America for the second time, the Mini, fresh from its launch by the British Motor Company in 1959, rode the freshly paved I-90 for the very first time. Sadly, only about 1 in every 185 million Americans bought one, and that was back when the population of America on average was 185 million. Here, I'm using exaggeration to convey how apparently few Americans had seen the Italian job, because they'd have been all over that if they had. Sales of the Mini came to a crashing halt in 1967. As it happens, so did the Summer of Love. Coincidence? Yes, actually. The reason for its initial demise in the United States has nothing to do with poor sales. It was kicked out of the country because it couldn't meet America's new, stricter safety and emissions standards. For a time, America replaced the Mini Cooper with Winnie Cooper, but she was a fictional child, not a car. So in 2002, having been acquired by German motor company BMW, the Mini made a triumphant return to American roads. Now, I'm not sure which type of Americans drive the new wave of Mini, but the one person in this country who I knew to drive one was a colleague of mine, and she was a British-born US citizen. So maybe it's just for us.
That is funny. But I've seen so many of those Mini Coopers here in Alaska. I'm like, I gotta give it to you guys. Every time I see one, I'll be staring at that little thing. I'm sorry, it don't mean nothing by it, but every time I see it, I'm like, okay, all right. They look cute, but I can't see myself driving one. I couldn't see myself, but I have a whole gang. I'm driving a school bus. Like, what are you? What are my regular schmeglers tell me? I'm driving a school bus with so many kids. So yeah, but they're cute. But yes, I've seen a lot of them here in Alaska, and I've seen a few here and there in other states that I've been in. So it's not that just one, Lawrence. There's more out there.
In this increasingly fraught world, it is well to remember the immortal words, keep calm and carry on. A very British
Keep
wartime
calm and carry.
motivational
Yep.
poster that Americans became more than familiar with at least 13 years ago. What few people know about the poster is that it had considerably more eyes on it in 2012 than at any point during World War II. And that's because even though the UK's Ministry of Information printed 2.5 million copies of the poster, very few made it onto the streets of Britain. Instead, they remained in storage, and most of the posters were soon pulped as part of Britain's commitment to salvaging paper for the war effort. And so the design would gather dust, seen by almost no one for half a century. That is, until the year 2000, when owners of a UK bookshop discovered one while rummaging through a box of second-hand books. In a moment of inspiration, they placed it next to their cash register, and one of the most famous memes on the internet was born. The poster gained such interest among customers that the owners, Stuart and Mary Manley, decided to print and sell copies of it. As if by word of mouth, it started showing up on everything, from mugs to t-shirts and eventually social media feeds. In fact, when I launched Lost in the Pond as a blog in 2013, the meme was at the height of its powers. Readers would send me it almost every day, which perhaps says more about me than them. But one thing that I forgot to mention is that most of those readers were American. You see, it became such a cultural hit in America that Americans adapted it for various uses, such as keep calm and go blue, keep calm and have a cupcake, and the CDC's use of keep calm and wash your hands. Finally, the keep calm poster had exceeded the fame and fortune of other wartime propaganda posters. In the end, you could say that it became a motivational poster not just for civilians, but for itself. Not that posters have feelings.
See, I'm so familiar with that saying from you guys, from all the history that I've dived in. Keep calm and carry on. That's your motto that you guys live by in wartime. And you guys still live by it. And a lot of the times you guys write it in the comment section. And I'm like, that is so cool. But yes, America do embrace that fully, and they have it for every little thing. But as you can see, they put their twist to it always. It's like they can't help themselves. But I love it. Keep calm and carry on. So that's a big thing, yeah, that Americans definitely, a British thing that they embrace full on.
I think it's pretty common knowledge that British music, led by four Scousers in a Mini Cooper, swept America in the 1960s. What's less talked about is that the US Billboard Hot 100 has had not one British invasion, but three. The first of these is said to have lasted from 1964 to 1971, underscoring once again the outrageous influence of the Beatles. But the second British invasion, which has its own Wikipedia page, is often said to have taken place between 1980 and 1989. This is when MTV, which was launched to the sound of Video Killed the Radio Star by the British new wave band, the Buggles, helped other British artists from that genre crack America. Even now, it's not unusual for me to go into an American store and hear songs like Tainted Love by Soft Cell, Rio by Duran Duran, or Sweet Dreams by Eurythmics. On May 25th, 1985, British acts accounted for a staggering 8 songs on the US Billboard Top 10. In fact, throughout the 80s, British artists, including Tears for Fears, Phil Collins, and Bonnie Tyler, spent more time atop the US Hot 100 than their 60s counterparts. And then it all came crashing down. In the 90s and 2000s, there were entire years where no British artist topped the charts. Until then, that hadn't happened since 1963. It kind of felt like the British invasion was over until I moved here. You see, it was shortly after then that the third British invasion began to take shape. Coincidence? Definitely not. In 2011, you couldn't move in the US without hearing Rolling in the Deep by Adele, or What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction, or Price Tag by Jessie J. So it makes perfect sense to me that music scholars believe this is when the third British invasion began. Now, signs of a full-on invasion were there for me in my first year when Miley Cyrus released Party in the USA. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Lawrence. Miley's American, and that's a song about revelry in the United States of America. Yes, but that song, which you hear every 4th of July without fail, was originally written for and partially by the British artist Jessie J, who I just mentioned.
For me, so I hopped off the plane at LAX with my tea and my cardigan. Welcome to the land of famous X. Whoa, am I going to fit in? So it was my experience of going to LA.
The 2010 saw British artists get significant airplay in the US, from Edward Sheeran to Harold Styles, which begs the question, when did it end? Well, we're not entirely sure that it did. Those artists, as well as Dua Lipa, Charlie XCX, and Calvin Harris, continue to enjoy mainstream success in America. So far, not one of them has thanked me, but it does raise two questions. Will America ever escape the clutches of British music? And number two, No, it won't.
Love it. I didn't realize that there was such a big break and a gap between where British music wasn't on the. Isn't that something? Well, oh yeah, 2011, you guys took the US airwave by storm. And I'm here for it. I love everything. But yeah, back in the days, the Phil Collins said, oh, come on, baby. Listen, you guys have amazing music. Have you ever seen me? I haven't seen any of my reaction where I was surprised that certain music were from you guys. Check those videos out. I'm gonna link it somewhere in here. You guys can check it out because I was like, they're British? Are you serious? And some of the songs I've heard and known and sing and didn't even know that. So yeah, you guys have it. You guys are all rounders. You're well balanced. Let's hear the next one.
And finally, I was shocked to discover that Americans love our gas. And I'm not just talking about the effects of Newcastle Brown Ale. No, specifically, I mean 2 international petrol companies that just happen to be British. Firstly, you might have heard me talk before about BP, which stands for British Petroleum. Those are all over the US. In fact, at the time of the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, I couldn't help feel both dismay and a sense that this also felt like a British invasion. Secondly, I discovered quite recently that America has no shortage of another major UK petrol company, Shell. And before Uncle Toby chats, Lawrence, how did it take you this long to realize Shell has gas stations in America? It didn't. It took me this long to realize Shell is, in fact, British. That's right. Despite boasting the most gas stations of any petrol company in the US, Shell traces its humble beginnings to a small antique shop in London. That's right. In the 1830s, Marcus Samuel, a London shopkeeper, sold trinkets, curiosities, and most importantly, decorative seashells to Victorians. It was after these that Shell would later take its name. However, from 1870, Marcus Samuel could no longer run the business due to dying. So it fell to his sons, Marcus and Samuel, one named after him, the other after his whole family. Given that they looked like this, their only viable career option was to become wealthy oil magnates. Accordingly, they expanded their dad's business and renamed it the Shell Transport and Trading Company. Eventually, the company that once sold polished clams decided to take on Standard Oil, America's mighty monopoly. By 1907, after merging with a Dutch firm, the Royal Dutch Shell Company was born. And suddenly, the quaint London Shell shop was fueling half the world and making Rockefeller's empire look a bit, well, standard. I've just realized that makes it sound like I'm shilling for Shell, but let me be clear, I don't take oil money. That whole thing was a misunderstanding. Anyway, that's just some of the British things that America has embraced. Here are 8 surprising things I didn't know about America until I moved here. You'll watch that video next. In the meantime, goodbye.
Goodbye. I ain't going to get... Oh, you ain't going... That last one got me. That last one got me good. I had no clue that Shell, it's a British... You telling me that's one of my favorite gas stations to go to, and BP, I didn't even know that. Are you serious? And I guarantee you, I can put my foot on the block with this one, or the neck on the block, whichever way you want to put it, that I'm going to put it at 99% of America does not know that Shell is a British company. No, they don't. That's a shocker right there. I had no clue. That one got me. That one definitely got me good. I had no clue that. I'm like, Shell? When he said it, I'm like, Shell? Guys, that's the only gas station I pull up at. I don't know why. And it's in Jamaica too. If my memory serves me correct. It's a Shell gas station for me all day, every day, baby. That's where I get my petrol, man. That's where I get my gas. I don't know. There's something about them. I've never went to a BP before. Never bought gas at a BP. I don't know if there's any BP here, but I'm familiar with the BP brand. Look at that. So can you imagine? Things that Americans embrace and don't even realize it's British. You cannot tell them it's British because they're going to tell you, no, it originated here in America. I know that's what a lot of Americans do. But there you have it. Thanks to Lawrence for sending this one our way. I really appreciate this video, and thank you for requesting this one or sending the link my way. I appreciate it to the max, to my regular segment who sent this one to me. All right? Yeah. It's your island girl, and I'm running out of here. That is so cool. So from Peppa Pig to Shell gas station, look at that, to the music. It don't get no better than that, don't it, guys? All of these things. Can you imagine that? Huh. All British. All 6 things British. All right, America can embrace them with open arms. Be good, be kind, be safe out there. Don't forget to hit the like, hit the subscribe button. If you're new here, we'd love to have you on board. Love you guys to the max, and I'll definitely catch you guys in another video. Oh, and when I started video, I was like, guys, you didn't want to know. Tell me what I did. I sat down, I recorded a video, I watched the video, but I did not put the video in the I didn't put the video in the frame, but I sat and watched a whole video, end the video, and realized that the video wasn't, you didn't see anything, just me talking and me watching a video that it wasn't even shared to you guys when I was videoing. I was like, oh, today is not my day. So that's why I started off this video, because I'm like, okay, I'm leaving that video alone. I got to a new one. Love you guys. Bye.